few passages from the opening section of the book with that little background what we have. In silent bound, bordering the mortal's plain, crossing a wide expanse of brilliant peace, Narad, the heavenly sage from paradise, came chanting to the last and lustrous air. So there is a joyous atmosphere, there is a kind of a lyrical music also, there is a sweetness of a different dimension in these lines, you see. Came chanting to the large and lustrous air, large and lustrous. That is the heavenly sage. He is now in the celestial regions, you see. In silent bounds, bounds means regions, realms, quiet realms, bordering mortal's plane. And of course, he has to cross from the immortal to the mortal. He's already indicating the transition. He has a mission to come and do something here in the context of Savitri, you see. Now, well, before we read, let me tell in advance what Narad is going to achieve by coming here. Exactly what is his mission. Apparently, in the most straightforward manner, the intention is to deliver the word of faith. To deliver the word of faith in a kind of a pragmatic sense. But if it is only going to be that part of his mission, to deliver the word of faith, it could amount to he playing mischief. Savitri had discovered love, and this man comes and says, tomorrow this is going to happen. That will be an aspect of mischief on his part. But it is not that. He has two more important things to do. In fact, that is the purpose of his coming here. The purpose is he comes here to make the will of Savitri form. He is going to tell what is going to happen tomorrow, but also make sure that her will gets strengthened by the utterance of that word. In other words, his utterance is going to be something mantric, carrying the power of mantra, carrying the power of word, which will strengthen her own will. Savitri has will, yes, I have chosen, nothing doing. But Savitri is a human Savitri. Savitri has discovered love. Savitri must also discover death. Savitri has to discover death if she has to fulfill a certain mission in life here. And she should be able to withstand the might of death. That is important. Otherwise, Savitri will not be able to fulfill her mission. So in that sense, it is not simply boosting Savitri up. It is to firming up her will. He is going to put his own yogic spiritual force in the soul of Savitri. When Narada is uttering something, he is putting his own force in the soul of Savitri. And it is that force in the soul of Savitri which will take her forward in her work. It is with that soul Savitri will do the yoga. In other words, Narada is actually initiating Savitri into yoga. Savitri has not done any yoga at all. She has discovered what is true love. The power of love is there. Immediate identity between Satyavan and Savitri is recognized by her soul. But that is not enough. She has to do yoga if she has to conquer death. And for that, some kind of initiation is required. And therefore, Narada comes here as a guru to give that initiation to Savitri. He becomes her guru. He gives her diksha, what we call diksha. initiating into the spiritual life. That is the Diksha. So Savitri is getting initiated, she is getting Diksha from Narad. That is the second part of Narad's coming here. And of course, in the same context, Narad is also going to tell what is going to be the future. He is going to tell her, Savitri will stand on the brink of danger. She may fail, she may succeed, but things have to move forward. Her heart may fail, still she should not give up. In fact, that is the line we have got. Her heart may fail. Yeah, 112.59. Even if he seems to leave her to her lone strength, even though all falters and falls and sees an end, and the heart fails, and only her death and night, God given her strength can battle against doom. Her heart fails. Now, the heart fails. That is exactly what the mother was experiencing in her yoga physical transformation. Heart. He has already told, Narada has foreseen that thing, and he's speaking of her heart specifically. It might fail. Still, the work will go on. Heart may fail. Her death and night, that is all in front of you. See. But her God-given strength can battle against doom. Even on a brink where death alone seems close, and no human strength can hinder or can help. It is that kind of a knowledge which Narad is bringing as an aspect of his coming and visiting Ashwapati in the context of Savitri's marriage this year. So these are, in my view, three important elements pertaining to the visit of Narad at this particular point. Now, Narad is coming exactly 1 hour before the arrival of Savitri to the palace. He has timed his visit very well. He has timed his visit very well. See, Savitri says her word to Satyavan, and she comes back and she is on her way to the palace. And early morning, maybe around 9 o'clock or so, she enters the palace with the triumphant joy of discovering love. She is eager to tell it to her parents. Look, 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 I have found the one I have been seeking, I have been looking for. She is eager, anxious to tell it to her parents. And she enters the palace. And what does she see? She sees already Narad present there, her parents in the company of Narad there. Huh? Yeah. So, no. And he pardon me? Yeah, yeah. How does she know? Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, we'll see that. I will tell you. Yeah. Now, yeah, I will tell you in a minute. Now, basically, the point is he has calculated the time he would require to come from his heaven in paradise, Vishnu's abode up there in heaven. How long it will take for him to come and enter the palace. Savitri does not know when she is coming and entering, but she is entering the palace early morning at 9 o'clock. Because Narad comes around 8 o'clock to the palace and he sings for an hour to Savitri's parents. He sings the song of love for 1 hour. While he is singing the song of love to Ashwapati and the queen. They are immersed in the joy of love, and Narada is singing, chanting the song. He sings for 1 hour. So, therefore, it must be around 9 o'clock that Savitri is coming back to the palace, you see, from that calculation, you see. And she enters there. She does not know who is he, and Narad pretends that he does not know who Savitri is and all that thing. He asks, who is she who has come? He asked rather a very innocent kind of question, as the story will develop. But we'll go into that detail later on. Let me tell you today that he has timed his visit very well, and it is again a visit for roughly 4 hours. He comes at 8 o'clock, and at noon he shoots out, goes back to his palace. Splendid like a noon, he shoots to the noon. That is how, in fact, the departure is shown here. Narada departure. It's a very interesting, beautiful passage. Last section. 113.1. 113.1. Whatever Narada had to say, he has said. Leave her to her mighty self and fate. He has uttered the last word. And then he said, he spoke and ceased and left the earthly scene. Away from the strife and suffering on our globe, he turned towards his far off blissful home. That is Vaikuntha, Vishnu's abode. A brilliant arrow pointing straight to heaven. He's shooting out like a rocket, straight to heaven, is the arrow, heaven. The luminous body of the eternal seer assailed the purple glory of the noon. It is at the noon that he is shooting out into the sky. And therefore, we can say easily that he must have come around 8 o'clock, sang for 1 hour, and then the discussion follows afterwards, you see, all those things. From 9 to 12, all these things happen. At 12 o'clock, he goes back, you see. Eternal noon. Pardon me? Purple noon. No, as I said earlier, this noon is very important. We are seeing in a number of places noon, because it is at this noon hour that Satyavan is to die. The hour is fixed, noon. So everywhere the poet is consistently maintaining the time sequence, the time lock. He is maintaining, keeping it intact, full, you see. He is not mixing up things at all, you see. Purple glory, this is royal majesty, beautiful. Narada's body is a purple body. Narada's body is a purple body, and he's shooting out like an arrow. Purple glory of the noon, and disappeared like a receding star, etc. Like a star, you see. Vanishing into the light of the unseen. He has vanished, gone away into the invisible. But still a cry was heard in the infinite. So he has gone away, but the song which you are singing, it is echoing, reverberating, constantly it is coming in. Also. But still a cry was heard in the infinite, and still to the listening soul on mortal earth, a high and far imperishable voice chanted the anthem of eternal love. That is what Narad is, chanting the song of love. That is the bhakti of Narad for his God Vishnu. Narad is anthem of love. Wherever he goes, he will sing the glory of Vishnu, his love for the entire creation. So, that is how we could fix up certain time details of Naras coming and going like that, you see. And noon, I said, is significant. Now, when Narad is coming from heaven and entering the palace hall, Narad has a heavenly body, spiritual body, the purple body. And when he enters the hall, the palace hall, he is taking up the physical body. He is not coming in the spiritual body. He is presenting himself like a person in flesh and blood. In other words, there has to be a transition from the spiritual body to the physical body. While coming down from the spiritual planes, Nara's spiritual body undergoes a change and becomes the gross physical body while he is entering into the palace. Now, how he does, that description is there, that we'll see next time, how he does by the process of the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy describes the materialization of the spiritual. How the spiritual can become material, there is a process by which that can happen. And Narad has that capacity, that knowledge, that command over the occult mechanism of transforming the spiritual into the physical. He has that. By spiritual will, he can do that thing. And the mother says, it is a very difficult and painful process of taking the physical body from the spiritual body is a very difficult and painful process. Now, Narad is willing to do that, to undergo that change from the spiritual to the physical, undergoing that painful and difficult process. Because he has in his soul the mission of his Vishnu. Narad, you have to go and deliver this message. You have to do this work. You are my messenger. You have to carry this thing onward. You have to deliver this message for a certain purpose, for my work. And therefore, Narad has no hesitation to undergo that kind of a change from the spiritual to the material, like that. In the same way, when Narad is shooting out the purple noon, he has to discard now that physical body and again assume the spiritual body and then shoot out. You see, he had that thing under his command to undergo transformation. In other words, there is a tremendous spiritual will in him by which he can accomplish such a change, such a transition from the physical to the spiritual and spiritual to the physical. But then the question would arise, why can't that happen now? Why all this physical process, transformation, this thing, that thing, etc., all that, you see. Means Narad is coming here, well, let everybody come here and do like that. Forget about all this painful process of that thing, you see. That would be very easy sort of a thing. But it doesn't have a permanent base in that. Narad cannot stay here permanently like that. His will is for a certain purpose, for a certain function. Once that is done, he cannot stay here. He has to go back. You see. He has to go back. You see. It is necessary. And that is what exactly happens in this case also. You see. So, physical transformation is a thing which has to happen from below, not from there. It is not permanent. See, for instance, you know the story, what happened in the guest house. The stones were falling constantly. The whole thing was flooded and all that kind of a thing. For 3 days, the stones were falling. I mean, a vital force had got materialized and taken the form of stones. Vital force got materialized. Same way, spiritual force can get materialized and come like that. But now what happens to those stones? Are they available? They are disappeared. They are not there. I cannot take a sample of that thing, bring it to my laboratory and test its chemical composition. I can't do. I can't do that. Those stones have disappeared. Because the vital force which was there, when it is withdrawn, they exist no more. They exist no more. That is the occult chemistry. It happens that. So all the stones have disappeared immediately. In fact, they have no business to be there, you see, afterwards. You see. So Narada has done his job and he has to go back.